Today marks 61 years of independence of Uganda from the colonial rule, which we celebrate with you. Therefore, on behalf of the President of the Republic of Uganda, and indeed on my own behalf, it's with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all, our distinguished guests and fellow Ugandans and fellow Somalis, to this ceremony of opening a new chancery of the embassy in Mogadishu, and to thank you for gracing this occasion. Your Excellency, permit me to pay special tribute to you and thank you for having accepted to come and grace this occasion. When we met you early this afternoon, you told us you had a very packed schedule, and indeed you said, I will come, inshallah. But we want to thank Allah that you have come. Thank you very much for gracing this. Let me start by stating that the ideals of African interdependence in African interaction have for long included a shared sense of destiny, justice, freedom, security, prosperity, pluralism, hard work, resilience, and commitment. These continue to drive us today, whether in upscaling of the economy of Uganda at home or strengthening our bilateral cooperation with the federal government of Somalia. The theme of today's independence is sustaining a united and progressive nation, taking charge of our future as a free nation. Independence anniversary requires cooperation, collaboration, and coordination with the sister countries in our region, and the African continent, and globally with like-minded nations. From 2007, Uganda was the first to contribute troops to liberation of Somalia and remains a major troop-contributing country in the fight against terrorism in Somalia. We fully support the government of the Federal Republic of Somalia and its commitment to fight terrorism in all forms and manifestations, and also in her efforts towards socioeconomic recovery and development. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me at this juncture to pay special tribute and have a moment of silence in memory of the officers and men who have lost their lives since the inception of AMISOM and now ATMIS. The head of mission didn't request us to stand up, but myself, I'm going to request you that we stand to observe a moment of silence for the gallant African officers and men who sacrificed for recovery of the nation of the federal government of Somalia. May their souls rest in eternity. Sit down. Peace and stability are imperative in sustaining and progressing nation. This is the very reason for which Uganda is invested with the notable Pan-African credentials on the African continent. For it is well known that a nation may well formally attain independence, but it takes a visionary leadership to consolidate and sustain the independence and take charge of the future as a free nation. In this respect, I commend the vision and the able leadership of His Excellency General Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, for sustaining a united and progressive nation, Uganda. I commend the federal government of Somalia under the able leadership of His Excellency President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, currently at the front line in the fight against terrorism. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, many of the African continent and elsewhere have come around to agreeing with what Uganda and other African patriots have been advocating for a long time, namely African solutions for African problems. This is the very reason for Uganda's prudent engagement credentials in the Pan-Africanism. Uganda remains an ardent supporter for strengthening the regional, sub-regional organizations such as the African Union, East African Community, and many others at the center of promoting cooperation and integration in areas such as peace, security, economic development, political and economic integration, democracy, good governance, as well as humanitarian aspects, including security and development. In the past, imperialism and colonialism caused so much damage to societies and the peoples of Africa, but subsequently, colonized people rose up, and after great sacrifices, defeated some overt aspects of imperialism and colonialism, especially in decision-making. I wish to quote Mzee Julius Nyerere: "No nation has the right to make decisions for another nation. No people for other people." End of quotes. The founding fathers of AAU in May 1963, like Abdel Gama, Nasser, Kwame Nkrumah, Mobido, Keita, Julius Nyerere, Sekou Toure, Aden Ade, amongst others, did not relent on the support of African countries, still colonized then, in attaining their independence thereafter. It's therefore incumbent on us to sustain this independence by taking charge of our future as free nations on the African continent. The Africa we want is the Africa that is peaceful, that addresses economic recession, tackles imbalanced international financial systems, climate change, food insecurity, and adds value to the abundant natural resources at its disposal, and above all, Africa that trades within itself, though widening markets, embracing the African continent free trade area and common market for East Africa, building all these on a solid interbase of sound African human values. Back to today's event and focusing on trade promotion between the two sister countries. Today, we have managed to bring some goods and services within reach. We have coffee and other products from Uganda. Additionally, Uganda Airlines is here to showcase services offered. I appeal to you to find time today and visit the stalls, those who haven't been there, and look at the products from Uganda. Looking further forward, allow me to observe that Somalia has the longest coastline in Africa, spanning a length of over 3,000 kilometers. Uganda has every opportunity to utilize the opportunities in Somalia and be able to access other global markets in the Gulf region. Moving on to conclude, let me note that opening of a new chancellery in Somalia makes a solid foundation Let me note that opening a new chancellery in Somalia makes a solid foundation on which our relations with Somalia will blossom. Fellow Ugandans, let's use the presence of this chancellery and staff to adequately further strengthen existing bilateral relations for mutual benefit of our two sister countries. I should further note that for the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, a memorandum of understanding on diplomatic and political consultations was signed last year. We agreed to consult and exchange views on bilateral matters of mutual concern, including political, peace, and security, economic, technical, health, cultural, education cooperation, as well as regional and international issues of mutual interest. Finally, allow me to conclude by taking this opportunity to thank the team that has managed to make preparations for this colorful and successful ceremony. Special thanks go to the head of mission, Deputy Head of Mission, all Ugandans for the relentless effort they put in to ensure a successful celebration for the 61st independence anniversary of Uganda, coinciding with the opening of the new Chancellery of Uganda. Your Excellency, I wouldn't go further than this. Let me end here. You know, sometimes when we talk about independence, we become very emotional. The professor said he was there physically when the flag of Uganda was raised. I think the other way around, when the Union Jack was lowered and the Ugandan flag was raised. But I also want to confirm that I was there. Yes, I was there spiritually anyway. I wouldn't have spoken about this if I weren't there. History says, and so is some of the spiritual books we read, that God knew us before we were created and born from our mother's wombs. So God knew that I would be here to talk about independence, even when I wasn't physically there, although I was spiritually present.